By their deeds, they challenge every American to ask this question: what can we do to be better citizens? What can we do to be worthy of such service and such sacrifice?
Out of all of the stories in the news today, if you only hear one, if you only pay attention to one, this is the one. Our country did something today that we do very, very, very rarely. And this is the story.
It was June 21st, 2006, in the remotest northeast of Afghanistan, near the border with Pakistan. Sergeant Monty was a team leader on a 16-man patrol. They'd been on the move for 3 days, down dirt roads, sloshing through rivers, hiking up steep mountain trails, their heavy gear on their backs, moving at night and in the early morning to avoid the scorching 100-degree heat. Their mission, to keep watch on the valley down below in advance of an operation to clear the area of militants. Those who were there remember that evening on the mountain, a rocky ridge not much bigger than this room. Some were standing guard, knowing they had been spotted by a man in the valley. Some were passing out MREs and water. There was talk of home and plans for leave. Jared was overheard remembering his time serving in Korea. Then, just before dark, there was a shuffle of feet in the woods, and that's when the tree line exploded in a wall of fire. One member of the patrol said it was like thousands of rifles crackling, bullets and heavy machine gun fire ricocheting across the rocks, rocket-propelled grenades raining down, fire so intense that weapons were shot right out of their hands. Within minutes, one soldier was killed, another was wounded. Everyone dove for cover, behind a tree, a rock, a stone wall. This patrol of 16 men was facing a force of some 50 fighters. Outnumbered, the risk was real. They might be overrun. They might not make it out alive. That's when Jared Monty did what he was trained to do. With the enemy advancing, so close they could hear their voices, he got on his radio and started calling in artillery. When the enemy tried to flank them, he grabbed a gun and drove them back. And when they came back again, he tossed a grenade and drove them back again. And when these American soldiers saw one of their own, wounded, lying in the open, some 20 yards away, exposed to the approaching enemy, Jared Monty did something no amount of training can instill. His patrol leader said he'd go, but Jared said, "No, he is my soldier. I'm going to get him." It was written long ago that the bravest are surely those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and yet, notwithstanding, go out to meet it. Jared Monty saw the danger before him, and he went out to meet it. He handed off his radio, he tightened his chin strap, and with his men providing cover, Jared rose and started to run into all those incoming bullets, into all those rockets. Upon seeing Jared, the enemy in the woods unleashed a firestorm. He moved low and fast, yard after yard, then dove behind a stone wall. A moment later, he rose again, and again they fired everything they had at him, forcing him back. Faced with overwhelming enemy fire, Jared could have stayed where he was, behind that wall. But that was not the kind of soldier Jared Monty was. He embodied that creed all soldiers strive to meet. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. And so for a third time, he rose. For a third time, he ran toward his fallen comrade. Said his patrol leader, "It was the bravest thing I had ever seen a soldier do." They say it was a rocket-propelled grenade that Jared made it within a few yards of his wounded soldier. They say that his final words, there on that ridge far from home, were of his faith and his family. "I've made peace with God. Tell my family that I love them." And then as the artillery that Jared had called in came down, the enemy fire slowed, then stopped. The patrol had defeated the attack. They had held on, but not without a price. By the end of the night, Jared and 3 others, including the soldier he died trying to save, had given their lives.
Sergeant Jared C. Monty of Raynham, Massachusetts today was awarded the Medal of Honor. It is the highest honor that we give in this country. While Sergeant Monty's parents received his medal today in Washington, in Afghanistan, U.S. soldiers there renamed a combat outpost in his honor. Only 5 medals of honor have been awarded thus far to Americans who have fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. And since Vietnam, no Medal of Honor has been awarded to a soldier, a sailor, an airman, or a Marine who has survived the fight for which he was honored.